Throughout my childhood, I would be told these kind of crazy stories of my ancestors and of what they did. And it was, I think, that storytelling in the beginning of my life that made me realize that I wanted to tell stories in some capacity as a professional or as an adult. I took John McPhee's creative nonfiction class in the journalism program, and in that moment I realized that stories didn't have to be fake for them to be entertaining and interesting. It felt good to tell the real, extraordinary stories of ordinary people in a fascinating and interesting way, where other people would read it, not only take it in as news, but take it in as, this is a story that is worth listening to. My senior thesis was a nonfiction book of travels along Colombia's Magdalena River, which is the most important river in Colombia, and I traveled that entire length of the river over the course of about a month. And basically I'm telling the story of Colombia's transition in recent history from war to peace through the lens of the people who live along this most important river. Something that's very special about Princeton is that you get the very academic side where you're learning from, in my case, the Spanish and Latin American studies professors, and you're learning a lot about the politics, the history, and the culture of a region. And then you're taking classes in a program like the program in journalism, where you're learning how to turn that information that you take from a very academic background and generate content that a general audience can appreciate. I took a class about radio documentaries and podcasts with Joe Richmond, the founder of Radio Diaries. Joe then put me in touch with the producer at NPR's All Things Considered, and my story aired on a Friday night, and I had family and friends call from their cars saying, "Oh, I just heard you on the radio." The next year, taking a class from the internationally renowned travel writer, Pico Iyer. Pico's class allowed me to take the thesis that I'd been working on for like 6 or 7 months and break it free almost from the chains of very rigid factual writing and inject that emotion that I think it was missing. The difference was notable, and Pico had an extremely important effect on my senior thesis. And then it went right up until the very, very end. I mean, we had this journalism colloquium, and Jim Dwyer, a columnist with the New York Times, heard my presentation of my senior thesis, and he came up to me afterwards and he said, "I think I have a literary agent who would be a great fit for you." And now here we are a couple months later, and I've signed with that literary agent, and now he's shopping around my thesis manuscript for publication to all these big publishing houses in New York. It's unbelievable, not only the diversity of professors that come to this program, but how much they're willing to help you and put you on the right path and give you the connections that are necessary in this industry to make a career for yourself. I wrote my junior paper at Princeton about my great-grandfather, who was a traveling salesman who had a trade route on horseback in the Argentine Andes. These are true stories that are almost unreal that I want to be able to share with the world, and that is what fuels me.